Welcome to Single Tree Nation. I'm your man, Charlie Eblin, the host and owner of Single Tree Woodfire BBQ. We are here to build community through undeniable hospitality, storytelling, and the perfect plate of barbecue.
I can only imagine.
Look, guys, welcome back to Single Tree Nation. As always, I'm your man, Charlie Eblin, with our illustrious co-host, Mr. Derry Wells.
What is up, everybody?
We have a really cool episode for you. I have a friend of mine that I have honestly been a crappy friend.
Finally, you admit it.
I wasn't going to say anything.
Should have had him on the show a long time ago.
Right.
Mr. Ryan Purdom.
Yeah.
From Purdom's BBQ.
I kind of forced your hand. Like, you didn't invite me on here.
I'm glad you did.
Dude, I know you want me on there. Like,
Hey, when am I coming?
That's what he said. When am I going to be on your show? And I was like, holy shit. I'm stupid.
Yeah.
All these weeks we had nobody. It was just me and you in here throwing darts at the wall. And then could have had Ryan.
Would have been something.
Golly.
So I met you 2 years ago?
Give or take, yeah.
Ish, somewhere in that neighborhood?
Somewhere in that neighborhood.
So Ryan has a food truck catering business. He is also a member of Murfreesboro, Rutherford County EMS.
Yep.
And just an all around pretty awesome dude.
I don't know about that. But
No, yeah.
So
we try.
You're
in the first responder category. Yeah, we'll take that, man.
Yeah.
That's gosh. Appreciate you.
I couldn't do what you do. I cook briskets.
Hey, I do too.
My give back is that's I try to feed people.
Yeah.
You're saving lives. So far better than what I do every day. But you do competition barbecues, caterings.
Yeah.
All the things. You have your own line of sauces and rubs. If you have not had his food, go have his food.
Yes.
The man can cook. His rub, this delicious stuff right here, goes literally on anything, like it says on the jar here. D, you're gonna love that.
Yes.
I have about a quarter of a jar left at home.
Well, good. Look, if nothing else, this podcast has afforded me some amazing flavorings on what I've got going. And here's what's great. I've got a butt sitting in the fridge ready for a little something.
Perfect, dude. Yeah, take that home.
Guess what I'm going to do this weekend?
Yeah.
So I'm going to go get cookies at Bart's.
Bart's.
And then I'm going to hit this on that butt. And I got about 9 pounds of pork that's going to
Heck yeah.
take that little friend.
Make it happen, Captain.
I'm going to.
Good stuff.
Yeah.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
No, I appreciate you.
Well, thanks for joining us.
Hey, you're a Pig Tennessee product.
I am.
That's fantastic. That makes me like it even better already.
Yeah.
That's a hard category to get in. So
It's but it's worth it.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
100%. I got some friends that are their farm is a Pig Tennessee.
Yes.
And it's one of those things, like there's some pride in being from Tennessee and you kind of get that notation and that kind of thing. So that's fantastic. Well done, sir. So
Absolutely.
Not to toot your horn, but toot your horn a little bit. That's
God,
that's good stuff.
Where's that?
Anyway, so I just saw the logo. So wait a minute, I know that logo. So.
I love it. I love it. But look, before we hit record, we've gone down all kinds of rabbit holes and started talking about all kinds of different stuff.
Yeah, we have. Yeah.
One of the biggest things that we have in common is barbecue. Mm-hmm. And then you've been doing the competition side way longer than I have. And do much better at it than I do.
Well,
I am not a competition barbecue cook by any means. I'm learning.
Yeah.
I'm learning. I've come a long way in a short amount of time.
We all start somewhere.
But
right.
I wasn't good when I started.
Well, you probably better than me. That's okay.
Do you enjoy yourself?
Look,
That's the most important
right there.
part.
I absolutely love going to comps.
That's all you need then.
I think what's one of my favorite parts about the comps is the last one I went to. Ryan was there.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think he knew my brisket sucked because he came up after the comp And he
didn't suck.
He was like, here you go, man, try this. And I appreciated it because I bit it and I was like, I immediately went, damn, man, mine didn't taste nothing like that shit. Okay.
Yeah, it's a subtle way. If this is what you're aiming for next time.
There you go. Yeah. No, it was great. I love it. It's so for our audience, tell people about the differences in what you do from a catering standpoint to a competition standpoint.
Absolutely. So yeah, for catering, generally I won't be cooking a bunch of Wagyu briskets and Prairie Fresh Prime ribs and pork. I'll definitely do it if someone inquires about it, but be alarmed. You're probably going to pay like $100 a person because those Wagyu briskets, like we were talking before the camera started rolling, I mean, they're costing $300 plus a pop.
Man.
Before you trim it.
Yeah. Before you trim it. Yeah. So, and again, you know, I'm not on the catering side. I'm not putting all this stuff in injections. I think it's either 3 or 4 sauces alone on my ribs. I'm not going to be doing that on catering. For one, it's really overpowering. But 2, it's not very cost effective.
Right.
Now, for a judge, it's only taking 1 bite. That's great. I want to give him that pop, something that stands out, great depth and flavor. But for catering, I want you to be able to enjoy yourself, eat you 2 or 3 ribs, and not give you a stomach ache at the end of it from being loaded with all kinds of MSG and things like that. But
I compare it to, and tell me if you think I'm way off base here, because you're a better comp guy than I am for sure. I compare it to like a rich dark chocolate.
yes,
Right?
I could see that.
Like that one bite, it's like, man, that's good.
Yeah.
But you don't want a whole candy bar of it.
But
You don't want the whole thing.
You don't want to eat a whole candy bar.
No.
Right? Because you eat that whole candy bar and you're like,
Yeah. It's like, gosh, it's just too rich.
it's just so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah,
That makes sense.
I think when I gave you some of my brisket, you could kind of get some of that.
It's super rich.
yeah,
It's so good that one bite is all you really want.
Yeah.
Right? You don't want to eat 2, 3, 4, a whole plate full of a Wagyu brisket.
Y'all don't know. I'm opening the can of seasoning.
what
I
down
wonder
here.
what he's doing, like
I know
under
exactly
the
what it is.
table with
Listen,
the
yeah.
rub.
Well, I'm trying to be
He's
kind to the
excited.
I've seen
camera.
it put on everything. I've never seen anybody put it under the table.
Look, that head up there now. Like,
Hawk to us.
what I was going to say though, that I broke the seal on this, and the smell it smells unlike
That's
any
what she
rub.
said.
God dang it!
Yeah.
The smell on this is
Yeah.
outrageously good. It's a little
It's really
different
good.
though. There's something I don't know what it is yet, but I'm picking
It
on
is
something
different.
a little different than what I normally get. God, I did not mean. I walked right that.
I'll
Well
give-
done, guys. Jeez.
I'll give you something in there that's a little bit different. Everybody uses cayenne, right?
Okay.
For that little extra
I see it.
oomph, that little heat.
Yeah.
We use Chipotle.
Chipotle. Yeah, I just read that.
Chipotle.
Amen.
Yeah,
brother.
but
Yeah,
that
dude.
is
brother.
It's different.
it's got
Yeah.
just enough subtlety that
Exactly.
there's. God, I can't wait. God.
It amazes me.
Bring it on Saturday.
It amazes me how many people use cayenne over Chipotle when Chipotle has so much more of just a deeper flavor.
I agree. Yeah.
And it kind of adds I think it complements smoked foods really, really well.
Yeah.
I'm a huge
I think
I'm a
the
huge
Chipotle complements sweeter items too well. So like when you get that the sugar part of that stuff, for me personally, I mean that's just
Yeah, you gotta be careful with cayenne, man. You will light
You can light somebody
somebody on
up quick.
fire
Yeah.
quick with
Yeah.
cayenne.
The Chipotle and ancho chili powder are probably 2 of my favorite surprise elements that a lot of people use ancho, but
Yeah,
there's not a lot of people that use chili or
Chipotle. Yeah, it's not very common.
Yeah.
Yeah, not in the barbecue world anyway.
Put it on anything, D.
Yeah, ABS.
Oh, I love it. Absolutely love it.
This is gonna be a good show.
It is.
I can feel it. feel it.
Shit, I'm having a good time now.
oh man.
All right, so let's take it back. How long has Purdom's barbecue been around?
Man, I started in 2017 when we kind of went somewhat official with it. That was just like me, like with a Oklahoma Joe from Lowe's, one of those cheap cookers, and kind of a dream. And then I threw a lot of meat away when I was first starting. I think we all do. Mm-hmm. It was just gross. It wasn't tender. But
can you remember the first brisket or the first butt or the first large protein you cooked?
Absolutely. I'm still chewing now.
Ditto.
No, I can't really now, just because it's been so long and we've done so much now. However, I could tell you it was bad. I probably threw most of it away. Like, I didn't want to break a tooth on that shit.
Sure.
So
y'all seen those videos where that guy, he's slicing the brisket? He's like, now that's how you know it's done.
Oh, yeah.
And the
I just got to cut
outside
into this
matches
thing right here.
the outside matches the inside in color. I'm like, that's not right. It should not be gray. And he's like, oh, this is good. I was like, you can't chew that. That is shoe leather. Anyway, that's what's coming to mind when you.
Yeah, so I looked a couple weeks ago. I went back through my Instagram and went back to my first Single Tree Barbecue post.
Yeah.
That's cool.
First reel. Right?
That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about 2,500 photos and like, I mean, this is a long time ago.
I'm your man, Charlie.
I'm your man, Charlie. But I was looking at what I thought was incredible. Like, I'm looking at one of the first posts is turkeys. And I thought, man, this looks amazing.
That's great.
And I'm looking at it now going, man, people ate that shit?
Yeah. Man.
And I mean, and I thought I was a pretty good cook then.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, like, just over the last 4 years, how much, like, do you ever do that? You ever look and see it, like, how,
oh, yeah,
like catering setups or pictures that you've taken or videos you've taken, and
the
and
hours
you look
count.
at it,
The hours count.
Yes,
and you're like,
does.
oh my goodness,
Experience.
man, like, how much you've grown.
Yeah.
And and for me, in just a matter of the last 4 years of how much my cooks are different and how much more just things that are now automatic.
Yeah.
Comparative to what I used to have to think about. You know?
Yeah, well, and me, who's just a weekend warrior, I remember when everything had to be by the thermometer because I didn't know any better, And now my thermometer is only for when I've actually spent money on something. Like if I'm just going out and like doing some ribs or something, I've got that down pat. So, I mean, those out. What?
It's funny you say that. So I'm teaching a guy now how to smoke,
how to feel it,
right? And he's got pork and ribs and chicken and the bolognas and the turkeys. Like he's got all that pretty much down.
Sure.
Like
cool.
he's doing a really good job there. And we've moved to brisket, and we've just started over the last 2 weeks learning how to do brisket. Now, I'll give him a shit ton of credit. He's learned how to manage a fire really, really well.
That's important. Yeah.
We were talking today, and we walked out there, and I looked at the brisket, and I was like, oh, yeah, those are done. And he goes, you didn't even touch it.
Yep.
Yeah, I know.
That's what about 8 years in this.
I was like, all right, give me the thermometer. Let me see it. And I poked it, and then he was like, yeah. I said, they're done. Yeah. And he goes, you can tell just by looking at it? I'm like, well, I know what time they went on. I know what time it is now. I know what they look like when they are done.
When they start to sit, kind of.
So I'm pretty sure it's done.
If it's not there, it's close. Yeah, I can.
That timing and that feel and just the visual appearances of it's just reps.
It's a good feeling too, and I'm sure both of y'all have done this. But as the weekend guy, when you go in and that one set of ribs you pick up and you picked it up and you felt how it kind of bent, how it flopped a little.
Yeah.
You're like, oh, these are good. These are ready to wrap. These are ready. You know what?
Oh yeah.
And I remember when I turned that corner, I was like, oh, like I could do this. Like I know what I'm doing. Like I'm not just the guy sitting there with the thermometer, like, where's the, find the center,
The whole reason I brought it up and chuckled was because what kind of weather have we had lately?
Perfect.
It's been beautiful.
Yeah.
75, 80.
Right. Yeah. Not humid.
Not humid.
Right.
Not
you can hang out by the fire. You can do all the stuff you want to do.
Not too sunny. Not too hot. Not too cold. And we're talking today, and he was like, man, I'm feeling pretty good about this. And I went, Oh yeah.
Wait till Friday.
You got it until November, and then we get to Thanksgiving, December time, right around there. You're gonna go, man. What do I do now? I'm like, because all the moisture you have in the air today is not going to be there anymore.
Right.
No.
Right.
And we're going to have a water pan. And then it's going to be 30 degrees when we get here in the morning. And it's going to take you longer to get the fire going. And that coal bed's going to take longer to build up.
Yep.
And the wood that we get is going to be different because it's a different time of the year.
Yeah.
So everything else is the whole smoking process is going to change.
Oh, yeah.
And he was like, what do you mean? And I went, you'll see.
You'll see.
Just hang out for a while.
You'll see.
Experience is key there.
Oh, right? Yeah.
You just got to go out there and do it. And
Yeah.
you got to learn your cooker, too.
Uh-huh.
A lot of people think it's just crazy when I say, like, I can smell the smoke and know when my cooker is, like, too hot or it's not hot enough.
Wow.
Or I can tell by looking at the smoke that's coming out of it, like that's not good. I don't want that kind of smoke. It needs more air.
Yeah.
Or it needs less air.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or it needs more wood.
That's impressive.
Yeah, you gotta get out there and do it. Man. It's a hustle.
I found that getting the right amount of smoke is very difficult.
Yeah.
Right? Because you don't want too much dirty smoke.
No.
But you don't want too clean of a fire either, because then you don't get any smoke.
Right.
And you're just cooking with heat, which is great, sure, right? Once you get to the point that you want smoke to stop penetrating the meat, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
But I've also found that it's really cool to know get the experience. It's cool to know when something's wrong and how you can fix it quickly.
Yeah.
Right. So like I walked out of my restaurant the other day and I look up at the smokestack, and my smokestack's 14, 15 feet in the
I was about
air,
to say, it's like 20 feet in the air.
It's forever up there. But so like I can look out the window and see the smokestack.
Yeah.
I got a rub for that.
Touche.
There you go.
Touche. Good. Way to boomerang that right back around. That was a good one. Yeah.
Man. All right.
Yeah, put it on anything.
That's right.
Yeah. But being able to know how to fix those things quickly, like if you walk out and you see your smoker and you got a whole bunch of dirty smoke going on,
Right.
and you got ribs on there, you can screw those up quickly.
Absolutely.
Chicken,
yeah,
it's
you'll
like
screw
you're
chicken
done.
up fast.
Oh yeah, because you're not. I mean, it's not a long cook anyway. So
No.
you start putting a whole bunch of dirty smoke on chicken, and it's just
Ugly.
it's like
done.
eating kerosene.
Yeah,
It's just
it
throw it
is.
away and start over again.
Yeah, it's like that creosote or something. Taste,
Yeah,
that dirty
it's just-
taste.
What are when you're planning an event, you're catering,
Yeah.
you're kind of out there. What are some of those challenges that you've got with narrowing down what you want to offer as, hey, here's what I'm into versus, keeping it cost effective, the price per guest isn't too high, and meeting kind of what they want. So, you're talking about from competition to catering. Now, just on the catering side, what all in your aspect is, do they come in and say, hey, just give me a price and go what you want? Or, what all you put into that?
It usually goes one of two ways. They either tell me what their budget is and what they're looking for, and I build a menu around that. Or more times than not, I send them a menu, and they pick off this menu that I have, and I price it per person.
Okay.
So if they told me they wanted barbecue and like 3 or 4 sides, or they want 2 or 3 meats and 4 or 5 sides, I'll say, okay, it'll cost you X per person. That's with me coming up, setting up chafing dishes, all that good stuff. I provide plates, plasticware, napkins, all that good stuff.
Gotcha.
Everywhere in between. We're pretty much to the point now where we'll do almost anything, just like that seasoning says.
Yeah.
We almost do more Mexican food now than we do barbecue.
Really?
It's weird. Like we did one nacho bar, and there wasn't any barbecue in sight. It was your ground beef and chicken, and then like your pico de gallo, salsa, queso, and all that stuff with it. We do more of those now than we do barbecue, or just about.
Is that a convenience just from the client side? Because everybody likes Mexican food. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And not everybody loves barbecue. So
Right. Yeah. And I think when I started the catering stuff to pay for the competitions, it was take it or leave it kind of thing. Do you want barbecue or not?
barbecue's what we do.
Yeah. We're really kind of limiting ourselves to everyone. Well, I don't want barbecue at my wedding.
Yeah.
Well, I want to cater your wedding. So what do I need to do?
Right. Okay.
Do you want barbecue? Do you want prime rib? Do you want Mexican food, or do you want traditional Southern cooking where I can do, ham, turkey, chicken, and dumplings,
right?
Pork, tenderloin, stuff like that.
Do you find or field, I should say, a lot of calls about catering orders for weddings that are on a tighter budget?
Yes. That is one thing that I used to say. It used to drive me crazy, but in today's world and today's economy, I can understand it.
I completely understand it wholeheartedly.
But when you come at me saying, what can you do for $5 a person? I can point you to the nearest McDonald's, and good luck there.
I don't know if you knew that.
Cannot eat. I've had the $5 a person. You can't get anything on my menu for that.
That's a bold statement. Can you do me $5?
Oh, wait,
and I'm not going to name drop it. That has happened more than once.
Yeah, listen to this. This is recent. Okay. 2,500 people.
Yeah. Wow.
80 cents a person.
No. What? What do you want?
That was their budget? That's what they came at you with? Mm-hmm. What do you want?
Where can you go
I told them I give them water and ice.
Will deliver.
You sure that wasn't a typo and it meant
no, this was a phone call.
Another zero in there?
Yeah, this was a phone call.
Yeah, because $8
the person that called me knew what the answer was going to be, and I have a relationship with this individual.
Okay,
I got
so there's a little bit of a setup.
It's a little bit more than
but literally that's their budget. 2,500 people, 80 cents a person.
I would highly suggest.
Would you like red or blue cups with your water?
You're not even getting cups with me, dude.
Look, that was out of the hose, man. You're gonna get a 5-gallon bucket of ice.
There's a Gatorade cooler with your name on it.
Yeah. I got
the cooler back.
It ain't even Gatorade, man. It's Igloo.
I got a strong relationship with the fire department. We may be able to get them by. Just like hosing.
Y'all walk by with your mouth open. We'll get some.
I was absolutely shocked when now we're gonna work some things out and figure it out, but it was
if that's their budget, like legitimately, I would highly suggest you cut your people that are coming down by half.
So
where are you going to have a wedding at and invite 2,500 people?
But it's not a wedding.
Okay,
corporate event or something.
It's an event.
Gotcha.
And I'm not going to go into details.
No, you don't need to.
You don't have to.
But it's yeah.
I still think I'd invite 500 though, and say
I asked you about
budget.
the light budgets because I've seen a lot of it, and I've seen a lot of people in Middle Tennessee specifically leaning towards barbecue for weddings.
Yeah.
Because they believe that it's going to be a less of an expense than going with XYZ caterer to get a whatever other kind of meal, right?
Yeah.
Because we're barbecue, we're cheap. And those two don't always correlate together, right? We just talked about
what's that
$250 briskets.
Cheap ain't good and good ain't cheap,
right?
Right.
I buy prime briskets and they're not cheap.
Yeah,
no.
So it's the same thing, but it's I say that I have a generic, basic catering package menu.
Yeah.
Right. Hey, here you go. Pick a meat. Pick your sides. Here you go. If you want the cheapest option, come pick it up.
Yeah.
Right. If you want it delivered, okay, there's going to be a charge. If you want me to bring all my chafing dishes, set it up and serve it and all of that, there's going to be a charge. But I can meet your budget.
Yeah.
Here's what you're going to get for that budget.
That's why I was saying, you can tell me your budget and I can build a menu around it.
Right.
Hey, you know what you need to do?
I can do hot dogs and water. We can figure it out.
You need to find an event or something. We'll record a show over in the corner we're just going. People walk up, they pop a seat. Hey, how you doing? You got 3 minutes? Spill your guts, get out. Like next person up. That'd be.
Like podcast speed dating?
Yeah, sure. There you go. Yeah. and make that part of the catering event. Like, just like, hey.
That's risky, dude. You don't know who's going to sit down, what they're going to say.
That's the power of editing. It's not live. Like,
yeah, some guy like me sit down with you.
That
we'll
would
have
be
a
great.
party then.
Yeah. So, and back onto what you were saying, like, there is a local place here that I think will do a special $2.50 barbecue sandwich, and I think that's where people are getting that from. They're not the only ones to do it. There's a lot of people that do it. And here's the thing: yes, you can come pick it up for me. I can, you can get it the day before. You heat it up yourself. And I've done all that before.
Yeah,
I don't like to anymore, and here's the reason why: is because my name is on it.
That's it.
And I don't know how. So, for one, if I drop it off, no chafing dishes or anything, that food's just going to sit on the table for who knows how long. It says Purdom's Barbecue on it, so everyone's going to try it. Well, it's been sitting there for an hour. That's not going to be good barbecue anymore. It's been sitting on the table. It's not even in a chafing dish or staying warm or anything
doesn't
like
matter
that.
how good you are cooking it.
And then if they come get it from you and they heat it up in the oven on 350, and they leave it in there too
Dryer
long.
and duck fart.
Yeah,
next
it's
day
like,
with that, yeah.
It's like,
Oh, yeah.
Tasting sand.
Yeah.
Where, my sauce is good, but all the sauce in the world ain't going to make that
Yeah,
good.
you're right.
So
It's a little dry.
what I have, you gotta be able to pivot,
Oh, yeah.
especially in the food business. So what I'll do is usually on people with tight budgets, have you seen those wire racks at Sam's Club that you can buy?
Yep.
They're like $7 for two. So if they're on a tighter budget and I'll do what I call a drop-off catering, I'll drop it off in those wire racks, put a sterno under it that's for 2 hours. And
There
at
you go.
least I know the food's hot when
Right.
people come through.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of the way I like to do it. I don't like to do dropping it off on the table. And I think that's what sets me apart, too.
Sure.
Because we have a lot of corporate places that come to us, and they want us to cater all 3 shifts. So we'll come for lunch, we'll come for dinner, and then we'll come at like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Most caterers will not come at that 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, so they'll put food in the fridge, and then the night shift people, they always get screwed.
They get screwed, man. They get screwed. So.
Yeah, they're like, okay, I guess I'm heating it up. Yeah, thanks for 365 days safe or whatever. Yeah. Yeah, but I think that's what sets us apart in the catering world.
Catering's interesting, man.
Yeah.
I had something similar like that happen to me. I catered an event that a friend of mine actually attended.
Yeah.
And I didn't even know it was catering. They ordered it online, came to pick it up.
Yeah.
Right. It
You just thought it was
just
a
like
bulk order,
just a
big order.
just a large to go order.
Yeah.
And they just happened to get mac and cheese in a pan. So I got a whole pan of mac and cheese. Well, mac and cheese after it sits there for an hour,
Start to
not
solidify,
heated,
man.
the cheese starts to get hard.
Yeah.
Right. And so a buddy of mine called me the next day. And he was like, hey, man, I had some of your food last night. Boy, it was delicious when I first got there. And I was like, wait a minute. What do you mean when you first got there?
First got where?
And he was like, well, about an hour into it, I went back over to get some mac and cheese. It was a little crusty. And I was like,
Of course.
well, of course it is. Like,
It's
was it
been
heated
sitting on the
up?
table.
Or was it under heat? No, I was just sitting on the counter. Well, what did you think? Like,
What'd you expect?
like I'm
Yeah.
good, man, but I ain't
People,
that good. Like,
Yeah.
I can't heat up mac and cheese
Like
from
your
across
voodoo
town.
onto it.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
but I get it, and it's made me think about things a little differently
Yeah.
because
Or
of
even
that,
worse,
right?
it gets somebody sick.
Oh yeah.
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 I mean, that'll just
And
kill
then-
your business.
And then
dude.
you had nothing to do with it.
Right.
Right?
Wasn't your
You-
fault.
You delivered it, or you dropped it off, or they came and picked it up, and then you got your stuff everywhere. It's all, where'd you get this from? Single Tree, and then the next day they're throwing up everywhere because they got
Yeah.
sick from, pork that's been sitting out on the counter for 6
Yeah.
hours.
Not your fault
You
either. I mean,
You didn't
it's
do
just
nothing
one
about
of
it.
those things. And that's why I don't like to do those.
I've never once considered that would be the kickback that you would get as a caterer, and that's exactly
Yes.
what people do.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. Maybe that's just my ignorance to it, but like,
Oh yeah.
obviously, if Grandpa Steve puts it out at 10 a.m. and at 4 p.m. somebody shows up and makes a sandwich, that's that's
exactly.
not on the caterer. Like, come on now. Like,
couple of years ago, I guess it's probably been 2.5, 3 years ago. I had an order. They didn't want me to deliver it when the event started. They wanted me to deliver it that morning. And and then
that's my first red flag.
Yeah. Well, we just had the food truck at the time. We were just getting started really good, right? I mean, I'm starting to feel good. Catering's starting to come in pretty decent at a decent rate. And, I think it was like October, November for me. And I was like, all right, cool, man. I take the order and it's like $1,000 order.
Cool.
And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's great.
Heck yeah.
And
they did that.
And so I wrote down everything. What time's your event? Oh, it's at 5:00. But we want you to deliver it much earlier than that because we want to get it all set up and everything ready to go. And I was like, okay, what time you want me to be there? 3? And they were like, oh, no. Can you drop it off that morning? And I was like,
dude, yeah.
I'm like, it's not going to be very good by the time we're going to heat it all back up.
Well, did you drop it off to a fridge is my next question.
That's what I was actually wondering. Like, did this go into a cold area of?
Yeah.
So I dropped it off. We took it into their garage fridge and put it all in their garage fridge, and then they heated it all back up in the oven. But the point is, I don't know how they heated it up.
Nope.
I don't know. Did they heat it up the right way, right? Or did they blast it at 350, 400 degrees and just roast every ounce of moisture that was left in the pork? And
and to go a step further, I mean, a garage fridge, I mean, we all got one of those. Did it work? Did it cool properly?
Did it cool down fast enough?
Exactly.
What kind of bacteria was growing?
My mom's garage fridge is drinks only, right?
Right.
Because in the bottom of that fridge is a collection of water because it doesn't dehumidify itself. So every now and then you take the drawers out, dump the water, put them back in. So it's
outstanding.
Yeah, so you could have delivered to a fridge like that. Your barbecue's swimming.
Yeah.
That's right. Or all the heat's creating a pool in the bottom because all it just.
You ever seen a pig swim? You have now.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk barbecue. I love just coming up with crazy ideas.
Mm-hmm.
So we've had some pretty kooky ideas in my restaurant ownership days. We have a deep fried potato salad on the menu. We've done smoked ice cream. We've done, which is really good, by the way.
Yeah. I can imagine.
It's pretty tasty. We're in the process of doing an all beef sausage right now. Homemade sausage, which is we made one today. The grind is too fine, so I gotta start over. Flavor is perfect, what I want. It's just
sausage is tricky.
Yeah. So point behind this is what's something crazy that is not your norm barbecue that you've come up with that you do at home? The fam, you're like, hey, I'm cooking this whole gator this weekend. I'm gonna deep fry potato salad. I'm gonna smoke tomahawks or whatever it is, right? What's something you're like, this is pretty cool. I'm gonna try it out.
Yeah. So the first thing that comes to mind is it's called thunder thighs.
Okay.
Leave her out of this.
It's a.
Do you put anything on it?
Actually, yes. So it's a stuffed jalapeno, like the cream cheese, shredded cheese, and a jalapeno.
Okay.
Stuffed in a chicken thigh, wrapped in bacon, and then I glazed it with our smoky barbecue sauce.
Okay.
Yeah, I didn't do our spicy barbecue because you're already getting the spice from the jalapeno. Yeah. And there's a video on TikTok that I put on there, and it was really good. And that was just me, kind of playing around, at the house. I had just bought a Gateway drum, so I was messing around with it, and I was like, okay, let's throw these and see what this does.
Yeah.
It's funny because like not even that long after, somebody tried to order it like for a catering. And I was like, oh, actually, we don't.
Easy now.
That's not a thing.
I made that mistake.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not a thing.
I made that mistake. So, bacon wrapped Oreos.
Yeah.
You ever wrapped an Oreo in bacon and smoked it?
No.
Oh, I've heard of it.
Okay. Try it. It's good.
Oh, I'm
sure it is.
It's good.
Yeah, I'm sure it is.
But same exact thing.
Yeah.
I posted a video about it. And literally the next week, somebody's like, hey, I got a wedding for 150 people and they all want Oreos.
Yeah.
Oh, they do?
3 each, please.
Everybody wanted a bacon wrapped Oreo. Really? You talked to all
we polled them.
people. Like, really?
Yeah.
And then I do a Tennessee Twinkie. So it's my version of a Texas Twinkie, but Tennessee style. So
okay, explain.
So instead of, it's the exact same thing. You know what a Texas Twinkie is?
Yes.
I don't. Fill us in.
Okay, so it's a bacon wrapped jalapeno that's stuffed with cream cheese and brisket.
Okay, yeah. Okay, I didn't know that. I just know that's name for it. Yeah.
That's what they call it.
Got it.
They call it Texas Twinkies.
Okay, got it.
So I do something very similar, but instead of brisket, I stuff it with pork and a whole bunch of different seasonings and cream cheese.
Nice.
Gotcha.
Right. So it has a little bit more depth and flavor because there's a lot more seasonings in there than just cream cheese and brisket. But I did those. They were on my catering menu for a long time. Notice the keywords there were on my catering menu.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of work.
You do not want to do 150 of them.
No, you do not.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I did them on the truck one time and sold out of them quickly as an appetizer.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right? I think I had 20 orders and sold all 20 orders in the first hour. Like, I mean, it was like that.
Yeah.
It's great. Awesome. Appreciate you. One of those orders was a lady who was getting married in 6 months.
Yeah.
And
she knew right then.
She wanted my barbecue for her wedding and wanted us to bring the food truck and wanted us to set the whole thing up.
Whole menu?
Do the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I was like, ooh.
I've been there.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we narrowed it down. We shrunk that down.
Yeah.
But the one thing she was not going to take no as an answer was Tennessee Twinkies.
That's right.
And I did 300 Tennessee Twinkies for that wedding.
Dude.
I have not made a Tennessee Twinkie since.
No, you haven't.
Yeah. I have not.
Yeah.
You capped out right there.
Well, you gotta think that's 300 jalapenos that I had to cut, devein, and core, right? Make all of the cream cheese filling with the pork and all the rub, stuff all that in there, then wrap all of those in bacon, and then smoke them just enough to where I could take them to the event that night to finish them off
and glaze them
and sell them.
I feel for you, dude.
Yeah,
because I've been there, and that's why I don't like to do the stuffed jalapenos anymore. It's a lot of work. And what are you charging for? What did you charge for them? If you don't mind me asking.
Oh man, I think it wasn't cheap.
Yeah.
I want to say for every two, so like per person, I think it was $10.
Yeah. How many do you get for $10? Two. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good, But there's so much time that goes into it.
Oh, yeah.
And it's like,
it took me a couple hours.
Yeah. Once you sell out, you made $400? Maybe. It's not even, it's just not worth it.
No.
I got a walking horse guy that we cater for every year. And, I just can't get away from the stuffed jalapenos. It drives me nuts. But, he's a little modest. He usually orders about 100. And I get a little lazy sometimes, and instead of doing the whole jalapeno and coring it out and putting I'll cut them in half, and then I'll put cream cheese and bacon on
100%. That's how I do it.
Yeah.
Y'all been talking this whole time like y'all stuff, and I'm like, when I do it at Mom's house, my mom thinks ketchup's hot, y'all. Like, she loves when I make those.
Yeah.
And I just use straight cream cheese. I don't
cream cheese cools it down,
and it does. And I take all the seeds and the vein and the core and all that stuff. So I mean, but I just cut it in half, a lay it on a sheet pan, smoke it, finish off in the oven so it kind of sits there. And Mom will eat 4 or 5 of those. And I'm like, you can't handle a mild wing from some places. How are you eating these? Oh, I just love the way it tastes. It's that cream cheese.
Now look,
I do too.
If you devein, you get the spines out.
Yeah.
And you get all the seeds
and
out.
I do for hers.
Most of the heat's gone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you get more flavor than heat when you
it's
do that.
way more flavor. Like I did that for the sausage that I'm making, and you can taste the jalapeno.
Yeah,
but I get more spice from the chimichurri that I put in there than I do the jalapeno.
Gotcha.
Okay. Yeah.
All right. What's the craziest thing you've ever tried to cook?
Whole hog was pretty difficult.
It's fun though.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I loved it,
fun, though.
but it was difficult because I tried to cook it by myself, and just getting it on the rack.
How big of a hog?
150 pounds.
Oh, Jesus.
Oh, wow.
Bless your heart.
Getting it on the rack was
You was
tough.
working out is what you was doing.
I was a little bit younger back then.
A little more stout and sprout, huh?
Yeah. Another thing that I've done was
What kind of pit were you putting it on?
So, and I wanted to talk to you about this because I was, I follow you on Facebook and TikTok and stuff, and I cook on a piggyback.
Okay.
And I think you have one.
I do.
Yeah. So I have a custom built piggyback smoker. It's a traditional offset reverse flow.
Yep.
So I got it in there. But yeah, that was
250 gallon?
No, it's a cabinet style. So it's like square.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. You can utilize the cabinet styles a lot better.
Yeah. So I cook mine's a 250 gallon offset piggyback, and I can put about an 80-pound hog on it.
Yeah.
And it almost makes it easy. Because you can pull that bottom
the whole tray
rack out.
Yeah.
And so you can pull that tray out, put your hog on it, and then put the tray back in
That's
there.
what I did.
Right. So, but 100
it was, man.
Yeah, that's a lot of work.
Oh, it sucked. And something that we cut the trotters off, which is the feet for anybody that don't know. That helped us like fit it in there.
Yeah.
Because I know people do eat the feet. I don't eat the feet. So
Yeah.
go ahead and cut those bad boys off. That way I can get it in the smoker a little bit better.
You can cut the head off too.
Yeah, you can.
I like the cheek meat.
I like the jowl.
Yeah.
The jowl meat's good.
Derry's over there going, what?
No, I knew everything you're saying here. I've never been part of a whole hog barbecue, and I've had plenty of people do it.
Up, bro.
Like, y'all are talking about things I'm just not familiar with as far as having tasted it.
You've never had whole hog barbecue?
It's a flavor of barbecue like no other.
Yeah, and I've heard that. I've got a buddy up in Woodbury did one like a year and a half ago. Built his pit, concrete block, did the whole thing, sat up all night, did their deal. I was giggling because he said when they cut off the trotters, and I knew what that was, and then I'm immediately quoting the movie Friday in my mind. I like pig's feet and eat up all the food like that. Anyway, that's where I went. But no, that I've never had though, because you see people go and they'll just reach in and they grab that piece of whatever. And I've heard lots of people talk about that jowl off that cheek and stuff, and I've just never had it. So
that's good.
If you could think about the creamiest piece of pork you've ever eaten. I mean, it's just super tender and just, I mean, it
melts.
It just melts.
Yeah.
I mean, it makes bacon look bad.
It does.
I mean, it's just, like my mouth is watering. Think like I can see it in my,
you can't,
man.
like buy it anywhere anymore. Piggly Wiggly. Do you guys have one in Murfreesboro?
Nope, closest one we got is Woodbury.
There's one in Shelbyville.
So, okay.
And they'll sell it.
Yeah. That's where I
but
get
like bacon, it's
then.
not cheap, but it's good.
Yeah. It's we're gonna have to do a whole hog.
All right.
Yeah.
Soon.
Yeah, hit me up. I'd like to be a part of that because I haven't cooked one in a while.
I might do one for New Year's.
We can get one at Tennessee Crafts. Get a whole hog from them. It's right down the road.
Yeah.
Cook it up.
Speaking of Tennessee
I
Craft,
can
I
get
know
one from US Foods.
that's where you sell, at least one of the places that carries some of your sauce and stuff, right? When you're looking at where you want to sell or have your product posted, are you casting just a broad net, hoping that anybody will take it, or are you kind of cherry picking on like, hey, I like you guys, you got a better offer, whatever? How are you going about that part?
I've went back and forth with the idea. I've even looked at distributors to kind of get it mass across the many stores at once. I like being able to, like you said, cherry pick the stores, and I feel like it's more desirable that way because you can't just get it anywhere. It's only in the stores that I handpick. But the sauce game is a hard game to be in.
It is.
It's just
very much so.
It is ridiculous. I mean, you're fighting with, especially barbecue sauce. That's even worse. Everyone makes barbecue sauce, and you're fighting to be on the shelf with 100 other brands of barbecue sauce. Unfortunately, we all know the Sweet Baby one that we're all competing with, and they sell it for like 10 cents on the dollar.
It's nothing, yeah.
Well, we're competing with Kraft.
Yeah.
But you know what? The thing about both of those to me is they're just full of sugar. The ones that I find
it's not even
better,
real sugar.
Okay.
Read the label. Like, it's more corn syrup than anything.
Gosh.
All of our ingredients, and I know yours is too, like, that's real sugar.
Yeah.
That's real brown sugar. That's real honey. There's no artificial flavors or anything in ours.
I know the Kroger near me just expanded. So I was like, okay, cool. The shelf place is going to get bigger. And they brought in a ton more sauces.
Oh, yeah.
But what they did was that they kept a lot of the same companies and just brought in more varieties, not necessarily offering more brands, right?
Right.
And so I was curious to that, but because you see these guys, you talk about everybody makes their own. I found Malcolm Reed a few years ago. You couldn't find his stuff anywhere. And then all of a sudden, I guess he struck a deal because you can see it everywhere now.
Yeah.
And everything kind of just starts that turn. And of course, you got the internet sensations and the social media guys, and the pop guy with his little brand, and he does all his stuff, and you see it everywhere. And that's why I was just curious, like, do you just hope to land one out there? You're like, hey, I want you guys. Like, is it a partnership kind of thing? And that's what got me thinking about that.
It's kind of a partnership thing. I think every store that we're in, minus a handful, like, we have a personal relationship with.
Sure.
I like it that way. But I'm not saying if Walmart called me up
tomorrow,
no. I'm gonna like say no. We like it how it is.
Right.
And
You might.
Yeah,
I've had that conversation.
Yeah. And
It's
I've had
not
the
as much money as you think it
conversation
is.
with one of the stores that we're already in, but we were going to be in like one of their warehouses where all the stores can order from.
Gotcha.
It's already an expensive game to be in, but when you get to some of those larger corporate stores, they want you to buy shelf space. They want so much free product, and if it doesn't sell, sometimes they want you to buy it back.
One of the ones I'm talking to right now wanted to put it in 58 locations. And if they don't sell it by the time it expires, you have to buy it back.
Yeah.
You buy back an unsellable product?
Yeah. So how much like product are we talking per store? Like 20 bottles per store or more?
Yeah, it was 2 cases, so 24 bottles.
Yeah. So, and you multiply that by 58.
So it was both my original and my hot. So it would have been technically 48.
Yeah.
Right, times 58 locations. You're talking
It's
about
close to 2,500 bottles.
Yeah,
Now,
exactly.
if you had to take half of those back, not only do I not have the space, but I won't have them because we've already paid to have it made.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I can't just like give it back to you. Like,
And you're
I
not
can't
making
buy it
enough.
back.
You're not making enough, and I'm sure you're in the same boat I am. We don't produce enough. So the name of the game in retail, and I'm sure you know this already, but there's not a huge markup.
Right.
No.
Right. So
You're playing around with pennies.
How Kraft and these other big brands get to where they can make so much money off of it is where this bottle right here, it might cost us a couple bucks a bottle.
Right.
Right. Well, Kraft is going to make that exact same bottle cost
43
about
cents.
about 30, 40 cents.
Yeah.
because they're buying so much of that bottle and putting a different label on it.
Right.
Yeah, when you buy 10,000 bottles, of course it
drops,
goes
right?
down.
So where if we sold, just call it 10,000 bottles, we might make $10,000.
Yeah.
Where Kraft sells 10,000 bottles, they might make
30,000.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, so it's a much different game. And when you get into the retail space, and it's simply why I haven't done the same thing with my rubs, right? I have my sauces are bottled too. It's such a tough game to get in. And there's so much that goes into the whole process. It's really hard.
It's hard and it's expensive.
Mm-hmm. I love seeing though, and this is just the consumer side of me. I love seeing the creativity and what y'all come up with, designs and advertising, that kind of thing. But then for me, there's always that element. If I feel like I know you a little bit, I'm going to go grab your stuff. Yeah. I will personally try to never grab a national brand and get something more local. And I get discouraged sometimes because you could tell that some of the, like, I've had something for a while, well, then it gets real big. I'm like, well, I got to quit buying you now because you can't do that. You got to find the next big up and coming guy, and so I love that aspect. Yeah. But when they open up new shelf space and the grocery store I'm used to had about, 5 or 6 feet, and now they've gone to 10, 12 feet. And it's like, well, you just doubled my selection, but you really got the same brands. You just took on more varieties.
Well, and what's even crazier about that is some of those stores don't even have someone locally that decides what goes in their stores.
Wow.
No.
So the brand of grocery store, unnamed, that I'm speaking with, the person that makes that decision is actually in the Carolinas.
Wow. Yeah, I've been through that.
And they have 2 different offices, and you have to send them samples to one office and the other office. And then they have a meeting every year.
Why don't y'all get together and share that same bottle?
Right.
Yeah.
So you send it off, and then they have a meeting, and it's based off of price and research and this, that, and the other, what they think is going to sell.
And that's Carolina. There's a barbecue market there anyway. I mean, that's, as far as just being so much larger.
There's a vinegar-based model in the Carolinas that probably does pretty well, but our sauces probably wouldn't sell as well in the Carolinas as they would
probably
here.
Not.
So it's a totally different world.
That's wild. That's wild.
We got it. We hadn't done mac or beans yet, have we?
We haven't.
We've been on a tangent here.
So we got a list we're going through?
Kind of.
I keep some topics in hand in case we hit a lull. We haven't hit a lull. So, but we've got a segment, mac or beans, that we hit with every show.
Mac or beans.
Mac or beans. So it's a this or that. So you sit down, you got your perfect plate of barbecue. You get one side. You going with mac, you going with beans.
Can I ask questions about the
mac or beans? Nope, it's mac or beans. There are
what kind of beans are we talking about?
It's your beans.
My beans.
It's baked beans. Like you go to the store, like, hey.
The beans you make at Purdom's.
Yeah. You got Purdom's beans or Purdom's mac and cheese. Which one you sitting down with?
Beans.
There you go. We've been on a bean streak here lately.
We have been.
I feel like they're catching up.
Last episode got 2 beans.
Yeah, we sure did. Did. So,
maybe it's because I'm not good at making mac and cheese.
So,
Charlie's gets hard after it sits out for a few hours. So.
That's what she said.
Funny story. In the first couple of years we were up and running, my mom made all of Purdom's barbecue mac and cheese. And
you switched vendors, didn't you? That's what happened.
It got to be way too much. You would feel bad, like, hey, Mom, like, I'm feeding 300 this weekend. They want mac and
12
cheese.
12 pans, Mom. Like
she'd like, you'd kind of hear under her breath, like, shit. And she's retired and everything.
Yeah.
But I don't think when she retired, she thought she'd be making mac and cheese on the weekends.
That was my wife in the banana pudding.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, honey, I got a big event this weekend. I need 3 pans of banana pudding. What?
You want that before or after the baseball tournament?
Yeah. I'll make it Friday night when I get home at midnight.
Well, that's right. Yeah. That's fantastic.
So let me ask you guys that same question. What are y'all going with?
For me, I'm going to fall back to, because there are no questions, there are no stipulations. I'm going to go to mac and cheese because it's harder to screw up mac and cheese. It is
harder
lame.
to screw up mac and cheese.
I think it is.
I don't think so.
I think it's easier to screw up mac and cheese.
Yeah, I agree.
Man, I've had some of these baked
turned
beans.
to mush a lot easier than beans.
You're right. You're right.
You can overcook the pasta. You cannot put enough. The cheese itself cannot be creamy enough.
Yeah. Well, what kind of beans are you making?
Yeah.
Like when I think of baked beans with barbecue, it's a barbecue baked bean. You've taken some of that end of your brisket or something. You've chopped up a little bit left of that pork that you didn't sell last night. You throw it in there. It's the molasses and the brown sugar.
Okay, cool.
It's set for a while.
Yeah.
It's souped up. It ain't just you didn't take Van Camp's and pour it in the pan
and still mac and cheese. You choose
because I've had really bad beans at some places.
I'm just kidding, man.
I know,
I'm
sitting
right here.
Your beans are awesome. And the matter of fact, I don't think I've ever had your mac either.
No, you haven't.
We
talked about that when we were at the restaurant. Yeah.
But I've had so many bad beans. And I'll also say this. I grew up with a mom who, for the longest when I was a young man, it was only her baked beans. That I didn't like other people's, that I didn't realize, hang on, there's other flavor profiles. You don't just go to mom's who's got the ratio of the grated onion, the dab of mustard, the dab of ketchup, 2 tablespoons of brown sugar, and, she had it right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And for years, that was the only baked bean I ever had. So I didn't know any better.
I get that.
Now I'm more well-rounded, and you've got me questioning my choice here, but
I poured hot water on it.
Look, I'm on both sides of the fence.
Yeah.
For me, I literally do it every single day, right? So for me, I love mac and cheese. That's why I even have the recipe that I do. My beans, I think, are absolutely amazing. I took my wife's recipe and just made it more me.
Yeah, you dabbed it up a little bit.
They're really, really good. I do.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Brisket is like, that's my vibe. Like, it's just,
I get it, man.
I'm just a brisket fella.
I like ground beef in mine.
Yeah. Ground beef was good in them.
That's a cowboy baked bean to me. I love those.
Yeah.
I put some barbecue sauce, ground beef, onion, maybe a bell pepper. Of course, the anything barbecue seasoning.
Yeah.
And we smoke them. We don't just cook them on the stovetop. Yeah. So you get the flavor from the smoker in there too. Yeah.
Yeah.
You got
pretty
me really
tasty.
Just
pretty tasty.
On the mac and cheese discussion though, are you going with a smaller noodle or a fatter noodle?
Cavatapia. So it's a spiral noodle.
I was about to say, I thought you did a spiral.
Yeah. So I like.
What's your justification on that?
So the
big boy me says there's one answer.
The cavatapia is a spiral noodle that has ridges in it.
Yes, I know. Yeah.
And the ridges hold the sauce.
It holds more cheese.
Right.
Yes.
So when you bite into it, if you cook the noodle properly, you'll get texture from the noodle.
Sure.
With a whole bunch of creaminess from the cheese.
Yes.
So, and then the spices that I put in it kind of add a smokiness back end. So it really kind of tastes like a smoked mac and cheese.
Yeah. Dude, you're about to make me switch up the pastas.
I put a lot of thought into it.
Yeah.
See, I'm glad we could have this discussion.
Well, I used to think, I used to like penne noodles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it doesn't look like mac and cheese.
It doesn't. That
right?
looks like a formal Italian kind of thing to me.
Right.
Yeah.
It's got that beveled cut.
Like I like the noodle, but it's just
kind of ridge though.
Yeah, it looks funny.
Yeah.
Right. And then you can't just use like a regular macaroni noodle. You look like Kraft. Right. Like, I mean, who wants Kraft mac and cheese?
My daughter, bless her heart, the other day.
Bless her heart.
Because I was like, hey, you want some mac and cheese for dinner? And I mean, as one of the sides, whatever. And she goes, it's not boxed, is it? I was like, who are you? No, it's not. But like, why are you like? She said, it's fine if it is boxed as long as it's the creamy stuff. She doesn't want powdered mac and cheese. And I was like, I don't know where you picked up on this, but thank you. And I'm glad. And
I can eat the Velveeta stuff.
Yeah. But I did tell her, I said, if you have the powders, because she was complaining that the last 2 or 3 times she's had it somewhere, she could still feel the grit of the powder.
I believe it.
And I said, somebody's not using enough butter. She looked at me like, what? And I said, you need more butter. and the butter helps break that stuff down.
Yeah.
It's still not your top shelf. There's a reason that box is not $1.25 in today's economy. But, it just is. I was like, good for you, darling.
That's
like
that college mac and cheese.
That's right.
Yeah, buddy.
It's right next to the ramen.
Anything you can microwave in a styrofoam cup.
They said
Man.
Oh, I absolutely love it.
Oh, gosh.
Look, man, ramen.
I'm not going to knock it. I've ate my fair share of that.
I think we all have, hadn't we? I had some the other day.
If you hadn't had ramen, I'm assuming you've never had a broke era in your life. Like, that's...
Yeah.
Or,
well, we won't go down that road. We go down
just
the hole.
roll that one.
Yeah, left real quick right there. Oh, Lord. Look, hey, Ryan, thank you for hanging out with us for a little while, man.
Thanks for having me.
It's been fun.
We could sit here and talk all night, but we got to end the show at some point.
That's right.
So, if people are trying to find Purdom's, they want to come see you, want to get some catering, they just want to check out your barbecue, how can they get a hold of you?
Sure. We're on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram at Purdom's BBQ, and we also have a website at purdomsbbq.com. You can reach out to us on either of those channels. There's a message button on all the social media as well as a website. You can order our sauce and seasoning on the website or our Shopify store.
Nice.
And you can inquire about catering through there as well. So.
And what all do you have on the store?
So we got our smoky barbecue sauce, we got our spicy barbecue sauce, or anything barbecue seasoning. We had a Nashville hot sauce, but it is sold out.
Okay.
Unfortunately, I need to get back to making that. I wish I could have brought you guys some. I think you would have really liked it.
Pretty good. All right.
I love it.
Are you going to have more first of the year?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We plan on it because it went better than I thought it was going to go.
Yep.
But I kind of came up with it because of all the people like, your spicy barbecue sauce ain't spicy. So I was like, okay, I got some for your ass. And
I got one of those.
Tell me that next time.
It has ghost pepper and Carolina Reaper in it.
That's my dog right there.
But it does have some flavor. It's not just hot. But give us a like, give us a follow, comment.
Yeah, let
us know what you think.
Do it to it, buddy. Do it to it. Look, y'all know what to do. Go find Purdom for me. You will probably see us at least once together in the competition circuit this year.
Oh yeah.
He will be mopping the floor.
I'll
with
be
me,
in front, but
that's for sure. That's for sure.
Tell Charlie, you go stand on the other side.
He'll be dragging me, kicking and screaming the whole way. I don't know why I keep losing.
So Charlie's like, I've never been this far front of the stage before.
Is this the side I go up? Where is the stage? I still hadn't found it. That's all right though. We're learning.
Yeah,
We're learning.
And you're having a blast.
I was there for at least 2 years, just learning. Like,
look, I'm telling you, comp barbecue it's like Chinese checkers to me. We'll figure it out, but it's gonna take a minute.
That's right.
It's
That's
like
all right.
chess, but I don't know how to play chess.
Yeah, you nailed that one. That's for sure. Derry, you got a good Friday feel good for us?
I do. In today's world, as hectic as it can get, do not let the world's problems frame your outlook on life. You get to pursue your goals despite what the world says. So make sure you're going out there and getting it. Don't let yourself be overcome by the things around you that really just don't pertain to you. You know what to do. Find somebody you know. Tell them you love them.
That's outstanding, man. Guys, we appreciate you as always. Thanks for joining the show. Make sure you go like and follow my man Ryan at Purdom's Barbecue. If you want to get involved, please feel free to reach out and ask for help from us at charlie@singletreebbq.com. Give me a call if you want to at 615-307-0120. Come see us at the restaurant. I'll come see you. Till next time, guys. Talk to you then.
Y'all be good.
Heck yeah, guys. That was fun. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for joining us today. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And as always, leave us a 5-star review and come see us at the restaurant.